Welcome back to an episode of We Are Gonna Do Some Quests. In this case, it's the refugees, or the continuation of it. And we're gonna talk to Clara. Clara Fulan, this one here.
There you are. I was wondering when you'd show up.
I came as fast as I could. Where are the villagers?
In a safe place. Not the most beautiful part of this city, but it'll do, for now. Ah, and I sent Ralph to an apothecary. Despite the fire nettle, his cramps have gotten worse.
Oh no! He's pregnant.
I see. How was the rest of the journey?
Well, since you made short work of the General's army, it was almost relaxing. Thanks again. I'm not the most pious of persons, but that the Harbinger sent you, of all people, was a true blessing. I only wish we hadn't lost so many people. I know you did your best, but there's gonna be a lot of grieving in the next moons. Damn that crazy general. What did we do to him? Nothing.
I think this dialogue actually changes if there are actually some refugees left, but the whole camp was basically killed off. And only one that was invulnerable managed to hold them back, which is nice. Because it gives you some time to retaliate.
Either way, that's not why you're here, right? You kept your promise, and I'll keep mine.
Allies. Does that mean you'll introduce me to those friends of yours?
Yes. In fact, I've already told him about you. His name is Fulan Argal, the mayor of this city.
You are friends with Everlight's mayor? Well, what's the past?
You're friends with Everlight's mayor?
Well, friends is a big word. Let's just say that he still owed me a favor.
And still, how did you get to that point?
Will he meet with me?
Yes, just go to his house and tell the guard that you're sent by Clara Fulan. She'll let you in. So, I guess this is where we part ways, isn't it? It was a pleasure, Tahar. Thank you for everything.
Ah, likewise.
Likewise. What will you and your people do now?
Play it by ear, I suppose. That's what I've always been good at.
Alright, now, what else does she have to say?
Dear?
Ah, nothing. The mayor's house is still locked though, which is weird. But yeah, finally we can get to the mayor.
Of course.
So, let's
That's the way.
see. Hopefully her behavior is a little bit nicer this time.
State your business.
Well, we're here because of reasons. Clara Fulan sent me. There we go.
Clara Fulan sent me.
Huh. The description fits. Fine, go on in. Argal is waiting for you.
Interesting. So, she prepared our entrance. That's neat. Let's go to the town hall.
As a free city, Everlight's leadership is not chosen by the right of blood, but elected by the town's nobility. The most recent mayor, Fulan Argal, has been in power for over 7 years now, and is known for his endeavors to drastically reduce crime.
So he's basically making a police state or whatever. Or he's just dishing out hard level of punishment. So now we are finally in the mayor's office. Is it just one room? Might just be it. So let's get up there. Oh, it's also a nice way to keep safe. Like if you have to go upstairs, right? And this way you can't really fight upwards if there are like archers up here stationary. They can just shoot through, and there's no way for you to actually defend yourself.
Alright, why not?
Okay, as long as we don't talk to him, everything's fine. Let's just have a little look around. Notes, books, scrolls, tomes. The sheer mind of it makes your eyes water. In a good or in a bad way? Okay, so the whole thing is just one item, even if it glows from two sides
Will
at
do.
once. And what else do we have? Nothing up there. Like, there could be at least one item. There we go. A sack of things.
Interesting.
What do we have here? Finon Mir, the minds behind the smiles. Ooh. Interesting. Let's see. Finon Mir, it was a book. Finon Mir. There we go. Finon Mir, the minds behind the smiles. To understand the elves of Finon Mir, one must first understand their reverence for the white tree that lies in the heart of their city. The tree is said to be a gift from the guardian of Elen for their devotion to nature and peace. Is the basis from which the upper echelons of Finon Mir society is structured. 12 of the most powerful mages, known as seers, protect the white tree. These 6 men and 6 women form the council, the ruling elite of Finon Mir. From an outsider's perspective, this arrangement makes practical sense. Protection of the guardian's gift should naturally be carried out by the most magically talented. The reality, however, is far more insidious. The council controls access to the white tree and, by extension, connection to Elen. Membership on the council is for life. When a vacancy arises, tradition dictates that it is up to the other council members to choose a successor. While technically any elf of Finon Mir with sufficient magical ability may qualify, generations of careful alliances and arranged marriages have resulted in only a handful of elven families that are left with strong magical lineages. It is, therefore, not by chance that the most powerful and influential members of Finon Mir society are limited to a few select individuals. While there are many impressions of Finon Mir elves as a gentle, peaceful people, indeed, the elves themselves promote this view. It is more accurate to describe them as cunning and ruthless manipulators, always concealed behind a friendly face. The powerful families are always looking for new ways to outmaneuver and sabotage each other, and often the ability to detect lies is almost as important as magical talent. The viciousness of the ruling class trickles down into all other aspects of Finon Mir. Although an elf is of lesser nobility, can never hope to compete for a spot on the council, still, their standing in society relies much upon their magic and their willingness to prove themselves better than others. It is no wonder, then, that outcasts from Finon Mir are common. Whether they were cast out as the losers of a power struggle or turned their backs on such a life, it is not uncommon to encounter an elf, formerly Finon Mir, on the roads of Northander. Very interesting. So, it is... Well, let's not call it racist. It's there, the outskirts arranged marriage. Like, the thing about the arranged marriages, right? Is that only the ones that are powerful can control who propagates. And if, of course, magically, like if it's genetic, magical giftedness, whatever, then of course you end up with more and more powerful elves every generation, really, if you control the whole thing. So then of course you come up with some kind of gradient, or maybe even a kind of a caste system, with the most powerful elves being at the top, controlling everything. And if it's only a few of them that are really powerful, because if it's a bell curve, that means like there's normal magically giftedness in the center. No giftedness is as common as high giftedness, and both of the extremes are fairly uncommon. So in this case, you try to always have like the highest power in this case, and also the whole society way of behaving, like the whole cunningness and whatever, the whole lying business is also something that is selected. So in this case, it's two-dimensional. One is magical, and the other one is well, not emotional, cunning or intelligence. And in this case, you have kind of like an exponential selection, because you can only select from one quadrant of it, and that makes the whole thing so much less likely that there are high amounts of people competing for that position, really. It's a very interesting way, but it of course has a benefit, because in the end you end up with highly capable people leading anyone else. It's well, it's kind of good, kind of bad, depending on your situation. As long as they don't extort or don't abuse their powers, really. That's also something to keep in mind, because anyone can be corrupted if the reasons are, well, correct. So, let's talk to the mayor.
Well, well, if it isn't the notorious betrayer's child. I always wondered what you look like. I had something different in mind. I'm Fulan Argal, mayor of Everlight. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Aw, that's a nice way.
But let us cut to the chase, shall we? Clara has told me you're looking for an ally. One that can help you put an end to the Bloodburn.
And what else did she tell you then?
What else did she tell you?
Not much I didn't already know. Who you are, and your involvement in the Mage Wars. And before you say any more, I don't want to know.
You don't?
No. The less I know, the less dangerous our cooperation is for me. Also, I fully trust Clara's judgment. If she thinks you're worthy of our support, then so do I.
And how do you know Clara?
For a simple village mayor, Clara has a lot of friends in high places.
She probably is not just a simple village mayor. Maybe she ended up at that lower position.
Simple village mayor. Is that who she is now? Amusing.
Well, who is she?
Someone who was once very powerful but decided to quit. That's all I can tell you without her consent.
So, wait a minute. Without her consent, so what kind of person is she then? A mage, former mage, whatever. Maybe a leader of some kind. Well, she now is the leader of a rebellion, but maybe she was previous nobility or something like that. But why would you give that up? Maybe it was just too much and they just treated the people like shit. So, can you help us?
So, can you help us?
I believe I can. Let me introduce you to the Wayfarers. Come on in. Tahar, this is Rowan, leader of the Wayfarers, one of the most able mercenary groups on EO.
And the most important character in future, well, previous installments actually, but this one is before the convocation, so this one will have an appearance actually in the first installment. I don't know if we see this dude in the second one though. I don't really remember him. Whatever. So, Rowan.
Rohan?
Tahar. Tiara's breath.
Do we know, like, does this character know him somehow?
Take it you were acquainted already?
Well...
Wait,
This man used to be my father's right hand during the Mage Wars. He was the one who told him of my plans to leave the rebels.
Interesting.
So he told him about him leaving the rebels. Now we are here. So he kind of... Either he knew all of that and prepared that. It could be.
don't act so surprised, Argal. You knew of my past. And you also know that I'm the only reason this war is over.
If I hadn't told the Crown of Isamo's attack on the keep, he would have won. So yes, Tahar, you're right. I told Isamo about your betrayal. But ever since then, I've tried to repent.
That doesn't bring our friends back to life, does it? Well, we are, like, who are we to tell others about, like, people being dead, right? Like, we kill for a living, basically. Like, all of those highwaymen that we killed that just attacked us. Well, you can think everybody tries to survive, really. And in the end, it's like us standing on a huge pile of bodies. And we are the ones that are somehow correct in our assessment. And it's just weird. The most ethical in this case. Seems that everybody's busy repenting. Yeah, exactly.
Seems that everybody is busy repenting these days. Does it work?
Look, you're angry. And after what I did, you have all the right to be. But this is not the time for discussion. You need an ally. And we're all you're going to get. So, please, let us just put this behind us, even if it's just for now. Let the Wayfarers help you.
Well, yeah, let's get all the backup that we can get. Who are the Wayfarers, though?
Who in the blazes are the Wayfarers?
Why do we curse? Come on, there's no reason to.
Mercenaries, as Argal said. I founded them right after the war.
Mercenaries.
Yeah, dude, do you have something with your ears?
Yes. But that's just how we pay for our shelter and our food. Most of the time, the Wayfarers are helping people. Refugees, farmers, homeless. We're protecting those who the Crown has forgotten.
Well, the idea of the mercenary is just someone who does things for money, right? Most of the time, it's giving protection or fighting things, being aggressive, violent, whatever. Using violence in order to get money. That's basically what a mercenary is. So, combat-capable people. But you can kind of think of it as just doing a job. In this case, a carpenter is nothing different than a mercenary. If someone gets money from doing things, then yeah, that's basically it. Also, soldiers are getting paid. They're not doing it willy-nilly. They're also getting paid. So in a way, they're also... In this case, the only difference from a soldier and a mercenary is that maybe the pay is different. Because a mercenary can ask for more. And a soldier, well, is probably not paid as much. Who knows? We don't know the right amount. So, but yeah, the ones paying them, that's the one that's different. And in this case, it's either someone, a private person, company or whatever, or it's the state, the ones managing and controlling the land, which we call the state. So it could also be a private thing. Like if you are a king, you can think of it as a huge company, right? And the king is the CEO. Like it doesn't really matter what's written on the paper, it just behaves this way. And every country basically works like this. And if you elect people to be the king or like some democratic leader or whatever, it doesn't really change anything like that. Because the whole thing has to be managed somewhat, and money has to be moved around. In this case, money is nothing more than an alternate, like what was it? A universal gift card in a way. You can use gift cards like Amazon gift cards or whatever, but in this case, you can also use money, which has the same effect. Only difference is that if you use a gift card, you already gave the company your money, so it's gone. So it's like giving someone a credit, if you think about it. And the more credit you give them, the better they can utilize it. But if you don't ask for an object or an item back for a certain amount of time, then it basically works like a credit. If you immediately use the money from the gift card without waiting, then the whole credit idea shrinks and shrinks. So it behaves more and more as money and not as credit. But yeah, actually money is credit. As long as you have it in your pocket, it means that someone else has the objects or can use whatever they have, right? And once you give, that's also why in space games, the idea of the money being called credit makes much more sense. Because, yeah, you're basically, well, yeah, you are giving people credit, and the whole thing is secured in this little piece of paper or this number on your bank account or whatever. In this case, you can give, take back the credit or get the money. Well, not really the money. It's basically you get their work. That's what you get from it. So yeah, money on your bank account is basically like that. A future amount of work that you can take from every individual. Like it's a universal kind of credit system. Very interesting if you think about it. Makes absolute sense. Yeah. Anyway, and the whole thing kind of is built on the surplus of food, because otherwise everybody would just try to secure their livelihood for themselves and trying to farm for themselves and whatnot. But yeah, anyhow.
Very poetic. And how do I know you're telling the truth?
We don't.
He is.
Oh, now we have to believe this guy.
Thanks. Look, Tahar, I know I messed up. I served a monster for over 6 years of my life. But I regret it. And I'm trying to make amends.
Uh-huh. You don't need to. I mean, how long does it take until you amended for all your deeds, right? I mean... Or is it repented? Amended? Whatever. No one knows how to exchange that. Like, is it a 1-to-1? Is it a 1-to-2 kind of exchange rate? Like 2 good deeds for 1 bad deed kind of thing? Did you really warn the royal army of my father's attack on Graveyard?
So you warned the royal army of the attack?
Yes. It took me some time to realize how rotten our movement had become. But when I did, I acted. Just like you.
But please, I can tell you all about this, but not now, not here.
I don't want your... Well, what can you offer?
So, this army of yours, what can you offer?
Well, probably the... this is not it. Where is it? The progress tab finally gets unlocked. That would help us at least a little bit. But yeah, having a personal army is always great.
Knowledge, tactics, swords. Whatever it is you and the Harbinger need to end the Bloodburn, we'll help you.
Ooh, okay. Knowledge would be good, but... Arrows. An awful lot of arrows. And bows. And people to wield them. Because ranged weaponry is so much better than going melee combat, because if you can only have so many people hit on... hit on someone. It's kind of like romance. No, hit someone else with a melee weapon, because there's a certain limit of people you can place around someone, right? But arrows, you can have an infinite amount of them. Well, kind of infinite amount of them being flung at an enemy. So always go for ranged attacks. That's why the arsonists are actually a really good idea, or arbalists as well. So anyone who shoots. So that increases the damage output a lot. And you have to use some tanks to keep the enemy at bay. So think about it this way. You need a wall, which is the tanks, and then you need some ranged damage dealers, and a lot of them to take them out. So, I don't have the money to pay you. Well, of course I don't.
I can't afford an army of mercenaries. I'd have to ask the Purity for support first.
You don't. I will cover all the expenses.
Wow.
You? Why?
And how?
As I said, I owe Clara. Also, it's not as if my wealth and my power protect me from the Bloodburn, do they? Clara has a lot of faith in you, and even though I'm skeptical about the Purity's involvement in your mission, I trust Clara's judgment.
Fine, but we have a lot to talk about.
Fine, but we'll have a lot to talk about,
Yes,
Rowan.
I know.
Well, that's settled then. But as much as I appreciate your presence, I would like you, Rowan Tahar, and your soldiers to leave this city as soon as possible.
Interesting, because does he not want to get affiliated with other soldiers, or he actually feels as if his position of power is getting questioned because there's another army present, and then the people are just thinking to themselves, why is there another army here? Like, what's going on? Yeah, his position of power needs to be secured, and you have to have a public display of it. This is also why some dictators are so violent. Well, actually, it's not really dictators. Like anyone trying to secure power needs to display it in a way that the people believe in. And sometimes it's violence, sometimes it's other stuff. But yeah, you somehow need to display that kind of power, or some kind of way that the people believe into the stability of the system. Otherwise, they won't support it.
An army the size of the Wayfarers will draw the Royal Army's attention sooner or later. And that's something neither of us want to happen.
Okay, and he just doesn't want to get attacked, so it has nothing to do with that.
You're right. Goodbye then, Argal. and thank you for your help.
Just like that. And bye. Thanks, I got an army, bye.
It has been my pleasure.
Yeah, gaining allies. Hey, we got the humans unlocked. Talk to Mayor Fulan Argal by the... yeah, that was done. Now, we only have to finish the Elixir side.
Of the few
What
refugees
the
who
hell?
make it to Everlight, many are shocked to find that their troubles do not end there. Though its neutrality as a city-state left it...
We're just getting kicked out like that. Okay. I have to get back in there to talk to him about the Elixir. Let's just...
Fine plan.
I don't know what's happening. Talk to the mayor. Okay. Let's just go down here and wait until one of those teammates has a response to it. Nothing. No response like, oh, that was easy, or how do you feel about it, or whatever. But actually, yeah, Tahar, it's kind of the same name. Like, what's going on there? Because sometimes a similar sounding name means that the there is some connection. Sometimes there's not, but sometimes there is. So every time you hear some similar words, the chances of them being connected somehow is large. And sometimes it's just completely different words that are connected for no apparent reason, which is even more interesting. So, like different languages, for example. Sometimes they have similar words, sometimes they have different words. And sometimes there are two different words in one kind of language that are used for the same thing. Like, what is it? There are different names for meat in the English language. Or what was it? I think so. Yeah. And there are also different kinds of words for different kinds of meat. That's one of the examples that that come to mind fairly easily to me, at least for now. Because there's pork and beef and was it poultry and the whole chicken thingy. What was the other one? A B C D E F G H I J K and oh nope. Okay, I can't get it right now. Whatever.
If
Foul.
it isn't
There we go.
the pariah. I didn't expect you back so soon. What do you need?
Well, I don't need anything. I'm just here to give some information about the Elixir, or basically it's not about the Elixir, it's about one person having the Bloodburn. I encountered a case of Bloodburn.
I'm here because I came across a victim of the Bloodburn. One of the farmers in the outskirts seems to exhibit symptoms of late-stage Bloodburn. I think it's best if your men look into that.
Yeah, they can look into it, but we all know. Does he know that the Bloodburn is not contagious? Like, we have to tell him that. Otherwise, he may start... maybe the people are getting a little riled up there. That's not what we want.
Bloodburn. I see. Thank you for reporting this to me. Learning more about this blasted disease is a difficult task. If more people were so quick to report the cases, we'd surely know more about it by now.
It's amazing. Like the similarity to the Bloodburn and Corona are just amazing. Like, you try to keep it under tight seal, like get all of the information secured first, and don't let anything seep out into the public, because you want to understand it first before you do any harsh decisions like lockdowns or whatever. But because we know that the Bloodburn is non-contagious, then doing anything about the Bloodburn doesn't really help anyone, except treating the symptoms or the disease itself and hoping for the best.
Here's a small token of gratitude for your diligence. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, so claim the reward. Maybe this is also the reason why we didn't get a huge response for Corona at the beginning. Because, well, you need some information first, and no one actually wants to get the fault. So it's kind of like a... they're not frightened, what is it? There's kind of an embarrassed situation for the country that started the whole corona business. In this case, China. For whatever reason. We don't know that, at least for now. But yeah, that's just huge embarrassment. That's why no one wants to talk about it. And they also want to display a certain image of security towards their people. That's why they can't afford this information to seep out willy-nilly. So it's just a really annoying reason for politics to behave like that. If people would be more rational about it, they would understand it. But this is not how people are. People are not rational beings. They are emotional beings, so you have to treat them emotionally. Even if that treatment is the wrong thing, logically speaking. It's just really weird. And sometimes you have to do some kind of middle ground thing because of reasons. It's unbelievable how stupid the whole system is. But yeah, that's just how it works for now. That's also why some political actions might not make sense at first, at least for people that are not non-politicians, because they're always weighing things out. At least if you think about them on an idealistic way. Oh, come on. 50 garlic. Well, I do get some garlic back, which is great. But I bought garlic to begin with. But why would I want garlic so much? Revived liquid? Nope. Poison mushrooms? No. Fresh start? Nope. Talisman of second chance. That's a nice one. I could try that. But to be honest, I have no use for it. So, what else do we have? We can now get to Northander because all of the missions are done for. Not done for. Done. Done. Da, 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 da. And we can't talk to the mayor anymore. That's it. Oh, what is this? The door's closed. Shut. The mayor casts you a questioning glance. What are you doing? Keep your hands off the door. What about this one? Same thing? Yeah, the door's closed shut. The mayor casts you a questioning glance. Like, what are you doing? I already took some items away from him, so he should not... Oh, can we? Maybe? No. Okay.
Of the few refugees who make it to Everlight, many are shocked to find that their troubles do not end there. Though its neutrality...
Let me know what you need.
Ooh, other locations. We don't have anything to do in the city anymore. There are no question marks, no nothing. But there could be some kind of side mission that you have to unlock at certain points. Because this is supposed to be a mud dweller, isn't it? There is a grayish kind of dot in this. Oh yeah, it's the woman. Let's not forget that. Then there's the mud dwellers here. So let's take this one. Go to the eastern sections.
Yes.
Or can I just walk? Nah, I can't walk there. The whole thing is too large. I have to walk around it and whatnot. Let's go over there. What about Clara? Can I talk to her again? Is she... Nope, can't talk to her. Only thing I could do is like buy some goods or whatever. Huh. It seems as if those mud dwellers are either there for decorational purposes, so that you can get the impression that this whole thing is kind of a slum area, or they are part of a future mission. Let's see, there's another one. No, that's not. And there is whatever this is. Then there's something... Wait a minute. I can click on it now. What's going on? And these must be all of the refugees, right? Man, woman, obviously. Give me a more descriptive thing about it. Like, what are they?
What do we need?
Not it's a man, it's a woman. Makes sense, but it does not help me understand what's going on here.
Sure.
Let's see.
It's not a functional description. Well, okay, if you think about it, being a man, being a woman is functional, because then you can put all of the ideas about that onto them. and then expect a certain behavior, depending on the situation. But still, it's very general, actually. It's not very specific. So
Yes, of course.
let's see. Can I get down here? Do I have to talk to them? Like, what's going on? I cannot fight them. I can do nothing. The Everlight slaughterhouse is locked. I think I messed this up. Yeah, you have to talk to the orc and tell them that you know where they live, and then you have to go down here. Or you have to do this before you give the orc the tools back, and then everything is somewhat fine. But okay. Before we do anything else, like going back to Muland, it just tells you Mulandir, not world map and Mulandir, but Mulandir immediately. But yeah, before we go there and do anything, oh wait, it's still not unlocked yet. Huh? I don't know what this means. Is it locked? Is it unlocked? Or does it mean this tells you everything you have unlocked? Makes sense. This is the question thing. This is the zoom thingy, whatever, apparatus. And those three are just with names and everything. Actually, oh, nice. You can. I was thinking, okay, how would you change through the characters if you want to click, or if you want to know about the specific character, not just cycle through them like that. But let's say you want to click on someone and then get the specific items. You can actually take those images up here and put them up there. You can only have 4 people in your squad anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You would not get the name from them. Or you could go with like 1, 2, name, 3, 4. Something like that. So it's symmetric again. Or you go with like name, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, name. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by the name. Or somehow. But this cycling thing is just... I don't like that, because you can basically click on it an infinite amount of times and you don't know when to stop. This one thing cycles. But you don't know what's the next... Well, you kind of know what's the next one. Undercast is the next one, but... Still. You only know that because of this. So you have to look up here, and then you have to click on this. So looking and clicking are at 2 different locations. So it's not at the same point. Anyway, the better way would be to just click on the portrait up here and change to the corresponding loadout.
What is it?
It's much better. So much more sense. But yeah, in terms of design, what's good, what's bad, always have the thing that you get the information from and also want to change be the place where the change happens. Or the... where you can do the change. Yeah. Where it happens, where you can change it, and whatever. Because if you click on this arrow, the next one comes up. If you click on this icon over here, this thing changes. So I click up here, but the change happens over here in the center. It's not at the same location, or at least it's not close enough, far enough away. So you have to take all of that and move it all the way up here. Would make so much more sense. But okay. Let's just stop complaining, but these are just some rough ideas here. Also, there is some interesting repetition. Like, these are just the units that you have selected. Sometimes you have them up here, like these are your heroes and these are your units. Sometimes you can find these icons all the way. Wait a minute. Oh, that works as well. Interesting. So... this thing here, the unit selection, also changes the inventory accordingly. Same as this one does. It's kind of weird. But okay. Also, you have this huge ass thing. Yeah, you have Tahar multiple times. Like one here, one there. Depending on what your main...
What's next? We should get moving.
yeah, what your main selection is. Like, you see that Tahar is selected up here. You see that Tahar is selected down here. You also see that Tahar is selected on the huge icon down here. So you see 3 different locations for Tahar's selection, or area selection, or if it's just normal units, it would just be 2 points here. At least it's if it's your own units. Like, this infantryman only comes down here. But if it's a unit that you can select yourself, let's say, if it's your own infantryman and if he's part of a squad, then he would not appear just in the center. He would appear... wait a minute.
Just give
there.
me a word.
He would appear like that. But wait a minute. This only happens if you have multiple units selected. So let's say you have a whole squad. Then they are all the way down here. The main selected squad thingy, whatever, is displayed down there. And then, of course, you have all of your resistances displayed. Then you have that stuff here, which just gives you a rough understanding of the resistances. Wait a minute. But if you do the same thing, right? You basically... Yeah, it's also kind of interesting. Like, you have this depiction of the resistances up here, where the action happens. But you also have a more detailed depiction of the resistances and the damage and everything down here. Which is... I don't know what's more useful. Like, this is just useful if you want to select the spells. Because, let's say, yeah, they are resistant towards fire damage or whatever. It is somewhat helpful if it's an enemy. Like, this one here. You know that we should use arrows and swords against the guy. But how would you tell your own units to attack this one? You can't just say that only sword wielders are supposed to attack him or something like that. You can't select that here. That would be cool. Or like, if you click on the resistance, then only these kind of units attack them. That would be interesting. That would actually be useful to maximize the damage output towards certain kinds of enemies. So that would be interesting. They should have put that in here, like a unit selector. You have them selected up here, and if you click on an enemy, then your whole squad that is previously selected then tells you what kind of damage can be done to them, and then you just click on the resistance to do the damage, and that's it. That is actually a really interesting way of doing it. I don't know if the game actually does that though. Anyway, we talked for a very long time about like game design stuff and whatnot. So let's end this episode because it's getting awfully long. And continue with Northander and the continuation of the main quest at... Or maybe... I don't know. Maybe I should go for a side mission, but let's just check out what this does in the next episode. Until then, like and subscribe. Ta-ta.